Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 50, a number in the 50s episode of the Seventh Rounders. Today we are brought to you by Lotrimin Ultra. I'm going to get right to it. I haven't figured out a name for the episode yet, so that will to be determined throughout tonight. But I think we have a word from none other than Jonathan Reginald Clemens. What do you have for us, sir?
I'm unhappy, to the least. I get home. This is just so fucking offensive. This is a fireable offense. I'm putting a bounty out. I have no repercussions saying that. The repercussions will see me. All right? Somebody, and I do this for the people, okay? Big Saturday. Great showing, great turnout. Fun. Someone jacked my phone charger. My phone charger was stolen. I just found out it's not on the outlet. This isn't just a normal phone charger. This came with the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Yes, I have one. Not a brag. New one, big block. It doesn't come out. It's sturdy. It's the sturdiest phone charger I've ever had. Someone stole it, dude. I'm not happy. I've got the dog. I've already sent the dogs out. I've already got one suspect. I am pissed. And quite honestly, I'm going to be battling through this show. If I didn't have Kava in front of me right now, Kava's a bee's knees. If I didn't have it in front of me right now, I don't know where I'd be. I'd be spiraling. I am so fucking... Who does that, dude? Who steals a phone charger at someone else's place when they're having an event for the people? Who does that?
Well,
do you know?
Not only did you lose a phone charger, you might be some sort of like voice magician because a couple of times you were literally echoing yourself. So that was kind of cool. We heard the story twice in a couple of spots. Regardless, those people, you got to put them in jail. You got to lock them up. There's got to be repercussions. And the thing with the new iPhones especially, I feel like you need the new charger because it charges that much faster.
Do you have any suspects?
I've got one. Courtesy of Drew has provided me one suspect. He said he distinctly saw someone using the charger Saturday night. I've sent the dogs. I'm so angry. I am legitimately so angry about this.
I mean, I feel like I lose phone chargers all the time, but maybe people are just taking them. It's possible.
So what's your blood pressure at?
I mean, that's actually a good question. I don't know. Trying to check my heart rate though for you here.
So
this is also Chad. A little embarrassing. This is episode 54. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. Read the film. Read this. I mean, you got to be better.
Usually we talk about this before we start, but you were so flustered at the beginning. I was just like, I got to get John on talking. It's all about himself. That was what it comes down to. If you don't know John by now, it's really all about him. And if it's not about him, it's just he's useless. So thanks for that. There's a little ultimatum that we put out in the Twitter sphere. So if you don't return the charger to John before this episode is dropped, which hopefully is Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, you will be placed on the commissioner's exempt list, 80 episode suspension. So you wouldn't know based on listening because it won't come out until you would be already suspended. But it's kind of one of those things where it's on Twitter, be honorable. Just give it back to the kid. He spent his hard-earned money on this phone and charger.
And text me for information on the bounty. A lot of money on this one. This is personal. This is strictly personal at this point. I'm so mad.
What's bullshit, too, is Apple charges, they charge $30 for the cord, and then you have to buy the box separate if you get a new charger. It's like a $60, $70 purchase. Kick rocks, Apple. I don't like that. And I did want to say before I forget, Chad, you probably don't know what Kava is, But
no,
it's
it's
truly
the bowls. It's like a
yes,
Chipotle, but
yes.
bowls. I've had it. There's one near my
But
house.
it's like Mediterranean, Greek. It
Yeah.
is truly a life-changing restaurant or
Dude.
chain, whatever you want to call it. I didn't know what it was until I moved to New York City. It is so gas. I will put an endorsement in for Kava right now.
You like it more
I
than
Yes.
I have an unbelievable situation here where I've got Chipotle and Kava across the street from each other. They just put Kava in a couple months ago, and it's literally like 0.2 miles from me. And then I got Chick 0.6 for me, and I got a Publix 0.3. It's just unbelievably convenient. The thought of how close all my favorite food places are almost made me forget about the charger being stolen, but it didn't. At the end of the day, I'm still pissed off.
All right, so I think we've had enough time to determine this is the the phone charger episode. We can name that betterly. The theft of John's phone charger episode 54.
Yeah, the theft.
The theft of John
R.I.P.
Clemens.
John's charger.
Yeah. All right. We'll let AJ play around.
Well, here's the thing. The good news is it's probably a kid that lives in Charlotte. I don't know who was at this pregame. So there's potential for John to reacquire. Maybe it was just a mistake. We don't know. We'll give him
An
the benefit.
honest mistake. It could have been an honest mistake. John, did you check under your couch?
Yes, I've shined a light
wow.
under numerous crevices.
So you did actually tweet this out, huh?
I did.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
Chad. Yeah, he's sticking up for you.
Chad is the masked singer on Twitter right now.
I am. So there was a game yesterday. How was
Just any
your
game. The big game, they call it.
How was your Sundays? As much as you had hoped and dreamed?
Truthfully, one of the better Super Bowl viewing experiences I had in quite some time. I feel like in college especially, you always end up in some packed bar or like packed, house or apartment. And it's kind of shitty watching the game. You can't really see it that well.
The
Whatever.
bars are, here's my thing. I watched the first half at a bar, second half at my place. The bars are like the people that like know they've got to watch the Super Bowl, but at the same time have no clue what's going on for the most part. So it's just like constant screaming. It's like a 3-yard run. People are going crazy. Like, I don't think they actually know.
It's the rookies. The rookies go to the bar.
Okay.
The rookies.
It's the kids that want to use the thing as a social scene to pick up chicks and have like a.
I was gonna say it's the spot
thing.
where you go if you think you have a chance to get girls, but you don't.
I left. I went a little different. So we, as I said, stayed till halftime. I left my email on the check for the bartender. She was kind of cute. I left my email.
Your email?
Yeah, I left my Virginia email.
What you doing, dude?
I don't know. I thought it would be funny.
You know what?
I didn't get an email. I didn't.
You know what?
What?
Chad.
You kind of love to play, don't you?
Chad.
What?
I think that is brilliant.
Thank you.
Nobody else is leaving their email. You immediately stand out. And I think that's brilliant.
The only issue is I was leaving. Like, I tried to get out of there quickly, so she didn't come back over to get the checks when I was still in there. And it was a busboy that came to the table, so I'm worried he saw it before her, and she may not have even seen it.
Okay, so we have poor execution on your part, but this was a good learning. This is a good learning moment.
Yeah.
However, I love the play. Also shows it shows you put a little thought into it. You're maybe a seasoned veteran by doing that.
I am.
Shows that you failed before, because no one thinks to do that first.
Yeah, I'm at this point. I'm
brilliant.
like 1 for 10 with 7 strikeouts. So, I mean, it's at the point where you're going through that cold stretch and you're just you're back in the batting cages before the game, really working on that craft, trying to figure it out. And I went with a different approach. I widened the stance a little bit, shortened up, even early on in the count, and it doesn't look like it paid off. But I guess we'll see. I still have a week to see if an email comes my way.
Listen, if you get that notification and she emails you, I'm gonna need to see photo proof of that.
All right, you will be the first to know. I'll post it on the Twitter account.
Yeah, for everyone to see. So back to the game. I don't even remember how we got on that. Oh yeah, we were talking about where we were watching it. Hors d'oeuvres were great yesterday. Food was great. Company was great. I had money on the Chiefs. I was rooting for the Chiefs. I was rooting for Andy Reid, Mahomes. So overall, I had a wonderful time. Prop bets were hitting at an unprecedented rate in the apartment. It was overall a good day. I know you two both had the Niners, I believe.
Yeah. It was a
I
good
do
day.
also want to say that last week I did say Jimmy G would throw a pick at the end of the game to seal it. He did throw a pick to seal it.
It was a good game, good day. It's so much less stressful when you don't have a team in it. Like, you can kind of sit back and relax. Like, if the Dolphins will never play in a Super Bowl, but
Trust me, dude, I know. It's literally the worst.
I would be so
Constant
unsocial
anxiety.
reading up, like, literally would not talk to anyone. What does John have on his bloody nose, John?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, just imagine it's how you felt for the Ohio State game,
Yes.
but the Super Bowl. It's the same thing.
I might just become a fan of the sport instead of the teams.
Little Rob Lowe just wear an NFL hat around.
Not a bad idea.
Student of the game.
I look
So,
like
You look like a prototypical student of the game. Kind of
Thank
guy
you.
who just that he picked him when the playoffs roll around.
So
Yeah.
I wanna pose
we
a
know that,
question. I want to pose a question about the game, the ending, I should say, because a good friend of mine, Dan Miller, posed it to me today. Do we blame the end of this game on Kyle Shanahan and his play calling or coaching, or do we blame it on Jimmy G and or another factor?
Got to be on Kyle Shanahan because he got conservative, foot off the pedal, just kind of like Super Bowl. Pretty embarrassing, really.
I would say the combination of, listen, we knew going into the game who Jimmy G was. He's not going to go out there and absolutely win the game for you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was more of a combination of the play calling with Shanahan and the offensive line wore down as the game went on. They were great in the first half, ran the ball really well, and it just wore down in the second half. But the play calling, the fact that, and I tweeted it, like, I think 9 minutes left in the second quarter was when Mostert got his first carry. Like, what?
Yes, and I want to say
doing?
something quick. I had a prop bet on Raheem Mostert to rush for under 3.5 yards on his first carry. The fact I had to wait until the second quarter to see that was out of control.
I don't understand that for the life of me. I understand that Debo had like 3 carries probably in the first quarter and they were great, but why aren't you pounding Debo and Mostert? Like, and Tevin Coleman wasn't terrible, but at the same time, Mostert was the guy with 20 plus carries and just electric in the NFC Championship, and they decide to kind of get cute in a sense and try and save him, and then he only finished the game with 12 carries. I don't understand it, and they kind of went away from the Debo run in the second half as well, and they were getting chunk yardages off of that in the first half. So I blame play calling and just deteriorating offensive line as the game went on.
I do want to point out, though, like, I feel like if Jimmy G makes that throw to Emmanuel Sanders, we're not even having this discussion.
Yes, but that's a tough throw. I know
he was pretty open.
Chad,
when I saw the play, I thought he was going to catch it.
Oh, Chad. You can't make that excuse, man. This is literally the biggest throw of the entire season. You have to make that.
That's
if you're
one
be
play,
though. Winning quarterback. Wide open, behind the defense. He overthrew. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even like, people are like, oh, you got to lay out for that. Even if he laid out, he wasn't going to catch that. It was like 6 yards past him. It was a terrible throw.
But there's more that led up to that than just that one play.
I'm not blaming that one play. I'm just saying, if you're going to win championships, that's a throw you cannot miss. He was wide open. Sanders is fast, too. He can get to it.
I was saying earlier, the parallels between how he called the end of this game and how he called the end of the Falcons Super Bowl were almost identical. He got away from his tendencies a bit. Especially in this game, I thought when they were up 2017, he basically abandoned the run after they, I believe they ran it on the first play when they got the ball back and got relatively stuffed. And then I think they passed it twice and punted. I could be wrong.
So Connor, I want to spin this on you. Do you think it was more of a Shanahan collapse play calling, or do you think it was the Chiefs just got their head out of their asses on offense and actually started doing some of the things that were successful throughout this whole year? Because
I just want to highlight this is how Kyle Shanahan's lost the past 2 Super Bowls. The first Super Bowl, Matt Ryan calls the wrong protection. Devonta Freeman whiffs on a block, and Hightower forces a fumble, touchdown, Patriots. Later in the game, Julio Jones makes one of the best catches on the sidelines. Instead of running the ball, Kyle Shanahan calls a pass. Falcons get called for a hold, out of field goal range punt. We know how that game ended. This week, you have Jimmy G missing that throw. And on top of that, the defense lets up that 3rd and 15, 44-yard bomb, which apparently there was a hold on. I didn't see. We can talk about that later. You let up that Tyreek Hill play. That's basically the game. If you force them to punt there, you're going to win the game. So I think there's blame to go all the way around for the Niners in general.
Yep.
I will say that the better coach and the significantly better quarterback won the game. Pretty obvious statement, yes. But it shows.
So I saw a tweet.
Mahomes started terrible. He weathered the storm. They never were without reach. Comes back, play under pressure. Garoppolo folds. Terrible fourth quarter. Horrible. One of the worst we've ever seen.
Yeah. Mahomes took some shots early. I was worried. Like some uncharacteristic, not sliding or just...
Dude, if you're going to have the yips, it's good to have it when Mahomes had it and be able to come back, knock down too much.
Yeah.
Defense repped up to keep them in that game, too.
Yeah. And the 49ers secondary definitely, fell apart at the end. I thought their defensive line was great throughout. I mean, that was the first Super Bowl ever that a defensive lineman's ever had 10 pressures in a game, which was Nick Bosa. I thought he was a stud throughout the whole game. Have to get my Ohio State plug in there.
He's an animal.
I think he's probably the best pass rusher in the league in terms of pure pass rushers right now.
I don't know about that yet. I'm not ready to say that, but he's an animal. Mike Rodriguez hates him. It's misguided. Mike will just pick people and hate them for no reason other than he doesn't like one characteristic about him. Just relax, and he passionately hates him. We'll get mad if you disagree. It's kind of messed up. Bad. You started to question the guy's moral compass there.
So I have a little question for both of you. What is more likely? And I saw this on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw it. What is more likely? Patrick Mahomes wins 1 Super Bowl or 4 or more Super Bowls?
4 or more.
I'll cash that. I would take that bet 10 times out of 10.
He's not winning 1. There's no way he wins 1. I'll roll the dice on 4 plus.
So here's the interesting thing about Mahomes that I just found out today is because he became Super Bowl MVP, which I want to say is absolute utter bullshit that Damian Williams didn't win the MVP. 17 rushes, 104 yards, a rushing touchdown to seal the game, and the receiving touchdown to put the Chiefs ahead. I get it. Mahomes had 3 touchdowns. He's the face. Madden. He was going to win it. And I don't think he was undeserving of it, but he was average in the first half, and Williams solid throughout the game. Irrelevant. Regardless, because Mahomes was MVP, this is why this is a big deal. Well, not only did people lose a lot of bets, but it's a big deal because he's now eligible for an extension after 3 years on his rookie contract. So I'm curious if you guys think there will be any tension there in negotiating that contract. Do we think he'll take the Brady approach and maybe be kind of soft on how much he's willing to take in order to field a better roster?
I have no idea.
I think he'll.
Some people are saying he's going to be a $40 million a year guy.
I think he'll want to field the better roster. I just feel like he's like that. I don't know.
I also feel that. I think he's going to want to be obviously in that top 3 range, but I don't know if he's necessarily going to be looking to set the new record or anything along those lines. At the same time, I feel like
he's definitely deserving of it. Correct? To be the highest paid quarterback.
He should be the highest paid quarterback ever. Yeah.
He'll have so many endorsement deals that he won't need the extra $5 million for playing football.
You're probably right, but
You say that, but like then you consider that his agents just wants that money. And Mahomes came out today, said he did want to be a Chiefs player for life, and not for life, but at the moment. And he said that other people handle those talks. So him saying that makes me also think that he's going to kind of just let it play out. And
Yeah.
if that happens, the Chiefs are probably going to be a wagon for quite some time. If they can save money on him and still field a good roster.
Dude, there's just no way that he goes anywhere else. They literally, there's no way. The Chiefs are so stupid if they let him go.
Folks, cherish this moment because this is the last year that Patrick Mahomes will be the best quarterback in the NFL.
You have to do say things.
Who do you think's better, Lamar Jackson?
No, Tua.
Tua. Is he even? Can he even get on the field next year?
Yeah.
Is he gonna be playing? The dude's hip came off.
No,
his body.
They said he'll be cleared in full speed by May.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this now. Justin Herbert will be a better NFL quarterback than Tua over his career.
I'll come on air and say Tua's gonna be a bust.
All right.
I'm on the Herbert.
Don't say
train.
ridiculous stuff like that on the show.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, some rookie QB is going to come in for the Dolphins and be the best quarterback in the league in his first year.
Just saying.
I'll pay for your tickets to the Super Bowl if he gets them there in his rookie year, all right?
All right, sounds like a plan. Someone records this part of it. Thank you.
Chad sneaks himself into a no-lose situation.
I love it. You got to love those situations. Anything else from this game? I'm trying to think.
Debo should have gotten the ball more. He really represented South Carolina well. We love to see that. He's a stud. Rashad Fenton, Chris Lamons, couple of cocks that won the Super Bowl. Lamons doesn't play. Fenton's I believe, he's very much in the rotation. I think he starts. He's in the nickel or something.
John making it all about himself again.
Oh, you know what? I know I wanted to say. Richard Sherman got friggin' burned last night, and it was awesome. And now, hopefully, we don't have to hear about him or see him on Twitter as much. He'll find a way to keep him on Twitter, but I'm so glad that he got burned. He's so annoying.
You guys think that was OPI on Kittle end of the first half?
I don't remember.
I think by rule, yeah, but I mean it's a tough call in that situation. I didn't think it was necessarily blatant. Can they review PIs under 2 minutes? Obviously, you can't challenge it. Would they ever do that, like a booth-initiated review?
I don't know. No, probably.
I think they're able to. That's a good question, actually. I don't think they would have been able to overturn that, though.
No way.
I think since it was called on the field.
I didn't have a problem with the call because I do think he pushed off with his right hand, I believe it was. I will say that was the best. Yeah. That was the best throw Jimmy G made the whole game. That was a beautiful ball. So he got robbed on that. I did want to shout out Tyreek Hill though. He had an incredible game. That dude we'll remove his off the field problems. He's one of the most exciting players to watch in the league. He had a day. I'm really happy Tyrann Mathieu got a ring. I'm really happy Andy Reid got a ring finally. I mean, Mahomes, I'm
happy for Andy Reid.
Killing it. Yeah, I mean, how can you not root for Big Andy in that one? Big Red.
Yeah.
God, he's so damn cute. I just want to squeeze his cheek.
So, excluding the XFL, 2.5 months until our next, round of football games. So we're gonna have a bit of withdrawal until then.
Speaking of the XFL, I'm actually going to
spring games.
I'm actually going to an XFL game next Sunday. New York Guardians. My mother was nice enough to buy me tickets. I'm excited.
You guys are Guardians fans, and I'm a DC fan, I believe. Correct? That's what we decided.
How are you going to call the XL not actual games and you're called spring games? Who cares?
Who cares about the XFL?
Yo, you don't understand Ohio State, the spring game, for whatever reason. They think it's like the greatest game ever played. Like, congrats on watching your team.
I'm sorry you guys didn't go to football schools. Like, Jesus.
Oh, relax, dude.
Man. Nah.
Relax.
So, what are your guys' early 2020 top 5 teams?
Wow.
The NFL.
So 1 and 2 are the two teams that met in the Super Bowl. I think we probably would agree on that, unless
Who do
someone.
you have at 1?
I would go Chiefs 1, defending champs, better quarterback, better coach. So I have the Chiefs at 1. I have the Niners at 2. Right now, I would say my 3 spot is not Green Bay. God no, probably Baltimore. I think another year for Lamar Jackson. I think there'll be another 10 to 12 wins once again. Fourth, I have what the heck's the name of that team? The Saints. And then fifth, I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Okay.
Someone
Respect that list.
Thank you.
Respect it. I'll go next. I think Powers is deep in thought. So, same 1 and 2. I got Chiefs, Niners. As bad as I want to go different, the Niners were embarrassing, and they pissed me off, lost my feud bet. We're going Chiefs at 1, 2. I actually am going Green Bay Packers at 3. The reason, all they need to do, they need to get one other receiver. Maybe, they're going to probably need to get two or they just need one other stud. Draft them early. Get a free agent. Boom. That's what you need. They got good running backs. It wouldn't hurt to get a tight end. Jimmy Graham, really, really slow. Looks like he's running through cement. And then they could use a couple guys in the couple linebackers to stop. Wide receiver, linebacker, maybe sneak a tight end. You're good from there. That's why I have him at 3. Ravens 4. Hope Lamar's just got to figure out how to play in the playoffs. And I'm going to go Saints 5.
Man, I really hope the listeners love your voice because they get double of you tonight.
Oh,
damn.
Man. Aside from that, yes, I don't mind either of your rankings. However, I'm a big believer in the Super Bowl hangover. I don't have the Niners in my top 5 teams. I think they're going to actually struggle. This is my take. I think Kyle Shanahan's done. He has blown 2 Super Bowls at this point. I don't know if he recovers from this. They have some guys aging in their secondary. Jimmy G, we'll see if he improves. He might stabilize. Teams might figure out the zone run scheme, so we'll see. I don't have them in my top 5. Still think they could be decent next year, but not in my top 5. Number 1, I do have the Chiefs. Patty Mahomes instantly makes them the best team. They are also the favorite to win next year at plus 600 odds, according to DraftKings. I have the Ravens at number 2. Like John said, though, Lamar does have to figure it out in the playoffs. Number 3, interestingly, I'm actually going to put the Pittsburgh Steelers here. I think they are going to make some sort of move at quarterback, and they have one of the best coaches in the NFL and one of the best young defenses in the NFL right now. If they can get a quarterback and James Conner can stay healthy, I think they will be a very solid team next year.
So do you think get a quarterback as in like play right away or sit under Big Ben? Because for me, I think Eason would be a perfect fit in Pittsburgh, but I'd like to see him under Big Ben for a year. What are you thinking?
I actually love that. Eason's good. I forget about him in this draft.
I think that's the ideal move for Pittsburgh. I'm not sold that Big Ben's going to be the starter next year.
Okay.
Is he healthy enough to play football anymore? I actually have no idea. He was fat as hell at the end of last season.
It's a good question.
But just so I can round this out before I forget, my 4th team, I have Green Bay. I still like Rodgers, and I think LaFleur showed a nice first year. And then 5, I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. Another team I was thinking about that they just need help right now on the offensive line. If Seattle can go out and grab, a guy in free agency for that O-line and maybe draft a guy in the first or the second round, I could easily move Seattle up into the top 5.
They need to get Wilson a couple more weapons as well.
Yeah.
Follow-up question. If you could pick one team who had a losing record this year that you think is going to make the playoffs next year,
your Atlanta Falcons.
Atlanta
Falcons sneakily have at plus 3,300 to win the Super Bowl next year. They are almost creeping into the top 15.
Okay, excluding your favorite team.
I was just going to say, other than the Falcons and Dolphins, say someone else that you're not about.
Okay, I've got one that it sounds dumb, but I kind of like a little bit of what they have, and that's the Jets. If Sam Darnold doesn't get mono and the defense continues to improve and they add a weapon or two on offense, I think that's a team that could sneak into the playoffs.
Listen, I love the Jets roster. I hate Adam Gase, bro.
Yep.
I think that the Jets do have the team to get into the playoffs, but they will not get to the playoffs with Adam Gase coaching, especially in the AFC East I think the Bills are going to be really solid next year. And I mean, the Pats will be good in the regular season, assuming Brady comes back. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I won't bet on Adam Gase for that. But if you guys want me to remove my favorite team, the Atlanta Falcons, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions as a team with a losing record to make the playoffs. They're currently at plus 6,600 to win the Super Bowl. Matt Stafford missed a ton of last year. He's only 32 or 33, I believe, so he's got some years left in him. They have great weapons on the outside. I think Patricia's a pretty good coach. I just think they didn't have the offense last year. Kerryon Johnson got hurt too, and their defense is always they were pretty solid last year. So I'll go with them. TJ Hawkinson's got another year. And I don't think their division is that great outside of the Packers. We saw the Bears fall off. Vikings are pretty good. Vikings are going to be good as well. So that'll have to probably be a three-team division that gets in the playoffs in order for the Lions to make it. But I still like them as a potential.
I don't hate that.
I have a team that I have immediately fallen in love with for next year. Him from the AFC West, 7-9, finished the year 4-1. Rookie quarterback. The Denver Broncos next year are going to make the playoffs. They're going to be a problem. All right, Drew Lock. I love the kid.
He might be damn good. He looked good.
He's got a little bit of swagger about him. He's had it since Missouri. I love the kid. Great attitude. Really good quarterback. Finished year 4-1. I love Lindsey and Freeman. I think that's a fantastic 1-2. You got a speed back. You got a power back. Cortland Sutton's emerged as one of the best receivers in the league, one of the brightest young receivers. He's fantastic. Fant has emerged as well. Fant's a great tight end. Their defense is solid. Von Miller, they're going to be good. I like Fangio. I think Fangio's a good coach too.
Okay, so I apologize. I just had a brain fart for some reason. I decided to flip conferences for the Cardinals. They're actually an NFC team. Sorry, John. But let's completely flip that. Let's go one team that made the playoffs this year that you don't see making it next year. I can go first. Personally, might be a little biased, but the Bills. I think the AFC was obviously down this year compared to the NFC, but I think there's a lot of good young teams with young quarterbacks, Jets included, still haven't given up on the Browns. Injuries such as Big Ben that kept the Steelers out of the playoffs. I just don't think the Bills are going to be back. They've got some aging players on the defensive side of the ball, and I've still yet to see that jump from Josh Allen that needs to occur soon.
That's such a cop-out answer that you haven't seen the jump from Josh Allen.
You haven't.
That's so vague. I mean, the dude wins games. He obviously, his team loves him. Yeah, he's not the best passer, but I mean, he obviously made a jump this year. There's no question about that. And I'm not even a Bills guy necessarily, but that's just an outrageous statement.
What did he make?
He got a team into the playoffs. He's like one of the first quarterbacks to have like that amount of passing and rushing yards like in his first 2 seasons ever. I think he has more rushing touchdowns than Lamar Jackson in his career.
Wow, and folks, we're seeing something rare. Connor Powers defending Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen.
Well, I just hate that statement. If he would have said, like, yeah, he needs to improve, like, his deep ball accuracy, yeah, I'll give you that, or, like, something else, but don't just say he needs to make a jump.
Well, I've said it time and time again. He has dog shit accuracy. You're never going to be a successful quarterback. You're never going to be a franchise quarterback if you literally throw balls 90 yards over the guy's head. I understand he is a phenomenal athlete and he can run the ball, but the AFC was down. Their
no doubt about that.
Was not great. Like the Baker and Darnold, I'd both take over Josh Allen, and I have not given up on either of the Browns or the Jets, and the Steelers, obviously, without Big Ben, was that hurt them. Like that's 3 teams that I could easily see being better than the Bills next year. Give me your team.
I don't hate your take that they'll miss the playoffs. I just didn't like that you just said it's because he needs to make the jump. Like I do agree that there are teams that are better than them, that will be better than them, that were worse this year. I just I'm providing a little pushback.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say the Bills because you already said the Bills. I wasn't gonna say them anyway. I'm between 2 teams, but I'm gonna settle on Houston Texans. They are fraudulent. Their defense is terrible. Now, if they make some serious moves this offseason, go ahead. I also think Deshaun Watson's a little overrated, just a little bit. Texans.
Okay. Alert! Clemson bias coming in here. Alert!
Red hot alert. He has the USC bias to start the show, and then he follows it up with the Clemson bias. God, what is this, an SEC podcast?
Yeah, like, you're Paul Feinbaum, dude. Yeah. I have 2 teams, and I'm gonna make a bold claim. The number 1 and number 2. I don't want to lie about that. They're not 1 and 2, but the number 1 overall seed, the 49ers, and the New Orleans Saints, who I believe were the 3 seed. Neither team will be in the playoffs next year, and I'll tell you why. One, I talked about the Niners, Super Bowl hangover. I think Kyle Shanahan is going to be scarred from this. They have an amazing roster, so it wouldn't surprise me, but I think something wacky's going to happen with them next year. Things aren't going to go their way. It's going to be a tough season. They won't get in. Saints are not going to get in. Drew Brees might not make it through the season as the Saints starting quarterback. His arm literally seemed like it stopped working towards the end of the season.
Teddy Bridgewater is a free agent, correct?
Yeah, they came out and said that they want to groom Tyson Hill.
Taysom Hill? Okay.
Taysom Hill. Which is just a ridiculous move. But mad props to him. He's a grinder.
Yeah.
He is awesome.
So last one on this note before we switch topics, similar to John's, but I'll tweak it a little bit. Give me one team that did not make the playoffs this year that could win the Super Bowl next year. I can start because I've got mine. I'm taking it to the bank. You guys should know this. It was my one of my Super Bowl picks this year that just did not pan out, and that is the LA Rams. They've got talent all over the field. They should and will be back in the playoffs next year, and they have a roster that can win a Super Bowl.
I still think Jared Goff might be kind of fraudulent.
That's a good point. But it's just the roster construction to me is very similar to San Francisco. And you see San Francisco in the Super Bowl this year. That's why I could see them the Rams back in the Super Bowl next year. Obviously, a great running game depending on the health of Gurley. Offensive line was beat up this year, which hurt them. And then they've got some studs on the defensive line and a decent secondary. So
NFC West, not a bad bet for Super Bowls right now. They've been to the last 2. Lost both of them, but
I will piggyback off what Connor said earlier. I'm going Steelers. Defense is fantastic. That's all I'll say.
I said the Lions could sneak into the playoffs. There's no shot in hell they would win a Super Bowl, so I won't be going there. I want to say the Falcons. Obviously, that's my squad, but for the sake of staying away from my team, I'll say the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
I would hate to see it happen. I don't want it to happen.
Absolutely hate it.
I think that they have a roster that could win a Super Bowl. They're getting a new coach that could, invigorate them a bit. So we'll see. They are currently they currently have the ninth best odds? Yeah, 9th best odds to win the Super Bowl next year, plus 2,000, tied with the Vikings and the Steelers.
Okay, so one more. We'll go to players. For the 2020-2021 season. Let's go with our breakout and our breakdown players. Players that a player that you could see, competing for an MVP, and a player that just completely breaks down physically, mentally, whatever the case. I can go with my breakout, and I'm going to go Kyler Murray. I could see him as, a top 3 MVP getter next year. I think the Cardinals are young and improving. Another team that I could see in the playoffs. So give me Kyler there.
They'll have to win 10 games for him to be in the conversation, which is going to be hard with Cliff Kingsbury coaching defense. I think he wants his defense to be bad. I don't get it.
Yeah. Breakdown, I really like the guy that Powers brought up earlier, but I'll let him have him. I'll go with Ryan Tannehill. I don't think he repeats what he did this year, and I don't see the Titans making the playoffs.
How are you going to say that, and I have no idea who I'm about to say?
I figured you would go Drew Brees for your breakdown.
Yes, good point. I would, but I'll go with someone else. John, would you like to take the floor?
No.
All right. Well, I'll start with my breakout. Chad, you really sprung this on me, so I don't know if this is going to be the greatest answer because there's a lot of players to pick from. But if we're talking about guys that are going to compete for an MVP, I am looking for a quarterback, obviously. I don't know the next time a non-quarterback will win that award. I mean, McCaffrey did about pretty much everything he could this year aside from make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So, young quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, I like the pick. I think he's going to have a great season statistically. He had a great season statistically this year. I think he was a top 10 fantasy quarterback almost the whole season. But I just don't think they'll win enough games. So, breakout, I will go to the is it can I say Baker Mayfield? Does that count?
Yeah, you can.
Because I think he'll break out again this year. I think sophomore slump. As of now, they still have the same roster. I thought they would get rid of OBJ. They still might. They still might do some other things, but I think new coach, new GM, new system, whatever. I think he'll be relaxed. Has something to prove now, no expectations. I think he'll be a breakout. Get them in the playoffs. Potential MVP.
Okay.
My break. Can you go? Yeah, I'll think of my breakdown as John goes outside of Drew Brees.
My breakout is Drew Lock. Mentioned him earlier. Can't stray away now. I'm gonna ride or die on the Broncos. They're already my early favorite to be my ride or die team next year. This past year was the Cardinals. I feel like I took them every game. We're going to watch Denver this coming season to see if that's the case. Now, I was between two options for breakdown. One of them I'm eliminating because he is a new head coach who's been known to kind of fix QBs or let them really leap, and that's Dak Prescott. So I'm going to go with Jimmy Garoppolo because he was god-awful in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. I think he's going to step back next year. I like where you're at, Connor, a little bit with them maybe not being as good. You kind of talked me into that one ultimately, and I'm going Jimmy.
Okay, I don't hate that. And then for me, outside of Drew Brees, who I talked about earlier, I'm kind of nervous. This might be the year that Aaron Rodgers kind of falls off. But I also rank them as my third best team in the league next year. So for the sake of that argument to hold up, I'm going to say he's not going to break down. But I do want it known on air that I did say it could happen. In case it does happen, then
you love playing the could, should, would, they might game. We could all say that. Got to stick with someone, folks. Forget Connor even mentioned that. Because commit to it.
Connor, I feel like John was obviously a Panthers fan last year. He switched back to the Dolphins fan. I feel like he's a closet Packers fan.
He reached the Packers because of his friend, Matthew, I believe. But he is a closet Packers guy.
Yeah.
For the hell of it, I almost wanted to say my breakout would be Jameis Winston.
Where's he? We got to talk about him in a second. Who knows?
Honestly...
Can he even break out anymore? He led the league in passing yards, but he had 30 touchdowns and 30 picks. He's kind of good, but sucks. I don't know if he can break out. I don't know if he's capable.
He is truly a specimen and an anomaly. We've never seen anything like this.
Oh God!
Oh my god, yeah, he's insane. I'm trying to think if there's any guys on defense. I think that'll be trash because it comes on the heels of the news that the Falcons aren't re-signing Vic Beasley. Praise the Lord. God knows why they announced that on Twitter though. That was kind of strange. But I'm trying like who on defense had an insane year? Oh, that guy for the Bucks this year was it Shaquille Barrett?
Something like
There's
that.
no way he like almost leads the league in sacks again. There's no way that happens.
Wow,
So
you're a
he'll
doubter.
down here.
You're
I
a
hate
hater.
the Bucks, dude. I hate the Bucks being an in division rival. I despise Jameis Winston. I will admit he's like one of the most fascinating case studies in NFL history, but can't
They
stand.
will literally have Harvard business cases on him in like 10, 15 years. Like, that's the shit you're going to have to pay for. Like, the rise, fall of Jameis Winston. Like, breaking that down analytically would actually give me a concussion.
Imagine being a Bucks fan. That would be an interesting life.
I could
Would
not.
suck.
Oh, God. Should we go to a break?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. Apparently, my audio stinks, so I'm going to switch headphones. It's a good opportunity.
All right. AJ, hit him with it. Woo!